All right, we're live. It is the fourth quarter. 6-point game. Man, it feels like Kansas City is very lucky to be in this game. Philadelphia's run twice as many plays. They've physically dominated them. You had that turnover that was just extremely costly and kind of gave the Chiefs a little bit of life. But it feels, between like the delay of games, that having to use a timeout. I don't want to call it unraveling, but it does seem like Kansas City should not be 6 points within the Eagles right now. It is the locker room. It's the live stream. We're doing this during the fourth quarter. Also going to talk Texans, obviously, because this is the number one stream for daily Texans digital content. Let's start, though, talking about the Texans. Texans made some news today of their own. Maybe not the biggest news. That was Indianapolis Colts, which we can get into. But the Texans do have an offensive coordinator. They are going with the Shanahan system. They do have Bobby Slowick, who's going to be calling plays. Gerard Johnson's going to be the quarterback coach. And I think a lot of people are extremely happy about this. I don't know that I've seen over a short period of time, just given what the actual situation was, I don't know that I've ever seen such a polarizing topic like the Cliff Kingsbury as an OC. And I understand that maybe when you compare him to Bobby Slowick, and when you look at Cliff Kingsbury's entire resume as a head coach, it's naturally polarizing. A lot of people don't think that he deserved as Tony scores a touchdown. Looks like Kansas City's about to take the lead in this game. A lot of people say Kingsbury might not deserve the head coaching gigs. I get that. But just the fact that you're even in the mix to get Cliff Kingsbury as an OC, regardless of what you think, I don't think it's like just the craziest thing that should generate that type of emotion. I don't think that it's that polarizing of a thing. We don't know much about Bobby Slowick. That is a fact. And we're going to learn some stuff about Bobby Slowick. We do know he's from a pretty good system, and we do know that there's some guys who've had some success out of there, and there's some guys who have not. Can't believe Kansas City's up by 1. Cameron says we got Kubiak too. We did not yet, at least not officially. They're working on it. So that was funny because I kind of saw how that one went down. McLean put it out there. McLean kind of got a bad tip. And we think that Kubiak is going to be here. And it might be official now. McLean said he was right. Then he said he was wrong. So there was a little bit of competition there and a little bit of confusion. So once it's officially official, we'll know. But McLean had it. Then he said he didn't. I was told it was happening, and then I saw what happened with McLean. He was a pretty funny thing because he called himself an idiot. 713 Sports, shout out to him doing his thing. Chiefs are now on top 28-27. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. There's like unraveling type of stuff. Love 713 Sports. Shout out to my man, Rube. As far as the rest of the staff goes, I don't think it's anything massive at this point. Gerard Johnson as a quarterback coach, not just saying it because he's a friend of the show. I like Gerard Johnson as a QB coach. I think he's a really, really smart guy. I think he's got a lot to offer. He's very familiar with these quarterbacks. Both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud has a history with them of coaching them and stuff. But the Kubiak, I don't think the Kubiak stuff is official yet. So I would hold off on that. Someone's trying to get him too. They're still trying. We'll see. FJ, as I previously stated on here before, must have forgot. Texans head coach hired. DeMeco is a good coach, but Shane Steichen is the obvious choice for Texans head coach. One of the best offensive minds and play callers. Yeah, I think Shane Steichen is a good hire. He's worked with a lot of quarterbacks. I know he worked with Rivers, had success with Justin Herbert, and he's done a good job with Jalen Hurts. A lot of people wanted Shane Steichen to be the guy, and fortunately or unfortunately for Texans fans, now you're going to get to see Shane Steichen calling plays and being the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. So you're going to get to measure what you feel twice a year. And you're actually going to get to see there's a strong chance that Jonathan Gannon gets the Arizona job this week, or we have Mike Kafka get the gig with Arizona too. One of those guys. So you could have 4 guys that the Texans interviewed as candidates. This game's getting pretty wild now. We might be witnessing a classic. As far as the game itself, so far the commercials, what have your favorite commercials been? There was one elite commercial break that I thought was as good as it got. All in one break. You had the Pringles can on the hand, which, I mean, it wasn't epic, but it wasn't terrible. It was blah. You had the Pete Davidson mayo, which was weird as hell, but it was kind of on brand for Pete Davidson. You had Miller Coors Blue Moon, which confused a lot of people because they didn't realize that it was all the same company. You had, what else did you have? You had the Jack Harlow Doritos Triangles, which I think is close to being the best one of the night. Then you had the Farmer's Dog Food, just a complete tearjerker. The obvious low-hanging fruit of the dog maturing over time and going through basically someone's life with them. And then you had, for some reason, I like that Coca-Cola All-Star because I just think the song gets in the head. Jose says Breaking Bad commercial. I wouldn't get it. I didn't really watch Breaking Bad. Don't judge me too much. Nathan says we were playing all the new coaches this year, I believe. They'll be playing 5 games. The Texans will be playing 5 games against new coaches. Sean Payton, Shane Steichen twice. And then I'm forgetting who else. Sean Payton, Shane Steichen twice. Oh my gosh, Hurts is rolling out here. Got to throw it away. About to punt. Old Sirianni about to have to punt. 3rd and 2, 28-27. But yeah, you got five new coaches. Yikes. Also got 10 uncertain quarterback. Let's just pull up the schedule here, the Texans schedule. We're counting down the final stretch until the offseason officially begins. Texans schedule 2023. So you have Carolina with Frank Reich, Steichen twice. Man, Tony's taking over now. Man. And then you're going to have Arizona and you're going to have Denver. So you are correct. You're going to have Arizona, Denver, Frank Reich, and then the other 2. So you're going to get 5 coaches. KC has entered the building. What a trade that Tony trade was. Tony punt return. Boy, what a turn of events. That's the thing about these teams. Like, as we talk about Nick Caserio and we talk about like how you make moves and the right kind of moves, we immediately look at all of the all attention is currently on the number 2 pick, and you want to hit on the number 2 pick. And obviously, if you get your quarterback, it just changes everything, no matter where it is. Like if the Chiefs didn't have Patrick Mahomes, who knows where they would be. But the Eagles in 2016, they traded up for Carson Wentz. It didn't go according to plan, although he played good ball for them. And they put themselves now twice since that selection to win a Super Bowl. One time they won it, and this time they have a chance. They're 9 minutes and 26 seconds away from us knowing. But when you draft well, when you make decisions in a timely manner and you make the right decisions, like you find yourself in this situation. And you look at the Chiefs. Yes, we can talk about Mahomes, and I just did. But you find Travis Kelce in the 3rd round. You find Tyreek Hill in the 5th round. When it's time to get rid of Tyreek Hill, you don't trade him for a bag of peanuts like the Texans did DeAndre Hopkins. You get top draft compensation. You kick the tires on a guy like Jerick McKinnon. You bring him in. You make a trade for Tony. You trade for Frank Clark. Touchdown. Sky Moore, baby. That was my guy in the draft. That was a hell of a play by Andy Reid. Goodness gracious. Andy Reid is in his bag. Man, if I were the Chiefs, I would go for 2 here in the game. Not necessarily end it, but put them in a strange spot. Butker's also been known to smoke them a little bit. Smoked one earlier today. Did not smoke that one. James says EB will not get love for these play calls. He's not calling them. What do you mean he won't get love for the play calls? He's not calling them, sir. I agree. The fumble was a game changer. Nathan says, love the idea you threw out Thursday of having Nick Cray have a slab cart instead of a boombox, and congrats on the news, Landry. Appreciate you. But yeah, you've got to make moves at all layers. Like if you find your quarterback like Kansas City, you still have to make moves. It can cover up a lot of things, but you still got to make moves. And that's what the Eagles have done. The way the Eagles have handled this, and now we got Kansas City right now. Like, what is the live line right now with Kansas City? Because Philly was a heavy favorite. Now we've shifted to the Eagles are plus 390. So that's where we are right now. Goodness gracious. Jonathan Gannon, this is not his best display. He's going to get the Arizona interview, but I've never been like a fan of when you're watching final games and you talk about it like that's the end all be all of that's the end all be all of premature electrification. But that's the end all be all of their resume. Like if that were the case, then should the 49ers have hired Matt Patricia instead of Kyle Shanahan after 2016? Like sometimes it happens. These teams are good, but I don't think you judge it on one game. And we know that Kansas City has a good offense, so I wouldn't put too much on the Jonathan Gannon thing. Some localized thoughts. Number one, there's a Sirianni lesson to be learned, whether he wins or loses. And I think this can be kind of humbling for Texans fans. The most exciting, most celebrated, most popular decision doesn't always produce results. I don't think anyone has a problem with the Texans hiring DeMeco Ryans. And quite frankly, I think no matter how you look at it, I think they made the right hire. Whether it's the potential, whether it's what he brings to the table, whether it's his experience. And obviously the fact that he was a former player, that adds to the excitement, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make the right hire. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles are the prime example. No matter what happens, I don't think anyone's going to dispute that Nick Sirianni's done a hell of a job with what he's had to work with in Philadelphia. And that was one of the most ridiculed hires maybe in NFL history. It was a joke. It was a laughingstock. You had Eagles fans mocking it. You had everyone mocking it. And Nick Sirianni has done a really good job in Philadelphia. So I think that's lesson number one. Lesson number two is trades. You've got to know how to make trades, and you've got to know how to make trades in multiple ways. Whether it's Kansas City trading for Frank Clark, whether it's Kansas City trading for Brown to help the offensive line, whether it's Kansas City trading for Tony. We've just seen him score a touchdown. We just saw him have the punt return. Whether it's Philadelphia trading up to get Devante Smith. You saw him, he had over 40 yards on the first drive, whether it's trading a first rounder to get A.J. Brown, making a trade to solidify the number 10 pick in this year's draft. A lot of trades that both of these teams have made, and they've made draft day trades. They've made in-season trades. They've made trades to stockpile assets. They've made trades to be aggressive. So trading. You've got to make trades. Going through the localized thoughts. So number one, the Sirianni lesson, the most popular hire is not always the best one. Number two, trades. Number three, picking second in 2016. Just kind of briefly touched on this. The Eagles, you can say it might be a little bit too harsh because you did get MVP caliber ball from Carson Wentz when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and you put Nick Foles in position to where, he could just kind of take over, although he played his ass off. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying Carson played pretty good. But you were able, and it goes back to trades, you were able to trade Carson Wentz for a first-round pick, and you were still able to build a core and maintain it for a period of time and even add new pieces to the second part of that core with two Super Bowl caliber teams. So picking second, I know it feels like, you've got to get this pick right. If it's not a home run, then you set your franchise back. But if you do everything else right, like the Eagles have, and even to a certain point, like the Jets have right now, where they feel they're a quarterback away, picking second, it's not the end all be all. A lot of other stuff has to happen. A lot of other dots got to get connected. And the Eagles are a prime example of that. So that's localized lesson three. Sirianni lesson, trades, picking second. Localized lesson number four, when the hell is Andy Reid going to retire? It's a question I have. Might be getting ahead of ourselves. He's probably still feeling pretty good. Patrick Mahomes makes his life a lot easier, able to do a lot of things. But when in the hell is Andy Reid going to retire? And what in the hell are the Kansas City Chiefs going to do? There's talk that it could be Matt Nagy, who could be head coach once Andy retires. And a lot of people in Kansas City say that's actually what Mahomes would want, would be Matt Nagy. He's actually really, really close with him. I think in their perfect world, they would have liked for Bieniemy to get a gig so that they could have given Kafka the gig. But when the hell is Andy Reid going to retire? Number five, this is way ahead of ourselves. After this game, Fletcher Cox, what is his future? And if Fletcher Cox wants to continue to play football, and let's say Philadelphia knows that they got some bills coming up and they're going to have to pay a lot of money, they've already, kind of redone the deal with Fletch. He's basically on a one-year deal. Could Fletcher Cox be someone who was a teammate of DeMeco Ryans, who he still credits for a lot of his things? Could Fletcher Cox be a guy who comes in here and helps add some leadership along with Jerry Hughes in the DeMeco Ryans there? Oh, my God, Devante Smith down to the 2-yard line. We got a hell of a ball game here. Remember when Devante Smith was – this could be a localized thought too. Keep the comments coming in. I promise we'll get into into some more stuff. Omar got the right idea. 30 minutes, everyone will be undefeated. Time for a fresh start. It's going to be a countdown. It's going to be a New Year's type of thing. No doubt. But you remember when Devante Smith, despite dominating the SEC, despite winning a Heisman Trophy, despite nothing on tape showing that he was going to struggle at the NFL level, remember when Devante Smith out of Alabama was too small and too little? Oh, when you get in the NFL, you're going to get hurt. You're not going to be able to get off of the line. You're not going to be able to do anything. You can't do that in the NFL. Two different positions, I get it, but it was the same level of disrespect where nothing that you actually saw when he played told you this guy's too small or this guy's too little or this guy's too fragile. But all of a sudden, the guy who was the best wide receiver in the entire land that you saw ball out time after time wasn't good enough despite dominating at Alabama and winning a Heisman Trophy. That sounds a little bit familiar to me. A little bit familiar. Different situations, but it does sound a little bit familiar. Jalen Hurts to the left. Ooh, he's in. There we go. We got a ball game, folks. That's H-Town strength right there. That's Texas strength. Get your ass off the field, KC. Take your ass back to the sidelines. That's Texas strength right there. Squat rack. Dude didn't even go to preschool. He was on the squat rack as a kid. Get your ass on the sidelines. Let's see what happens. Since we've been talking, it was plus 390. So the Eagles. So if you hit that bet when we were talking, it was basically 4-1 Eagles. Let's see what we got now. This is why live betting is crazy because it just can change on you real quick. Now it is Chiefs are a slight favorite. Eagles have gone down to plus 140. Someone's talking about the Binky commercial. Which commercial is that? We got 5 minutes left till the fresh start for the Texans. Appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like. It's just a little live stream. Going to have a lot of videos coming out this week, continuing the content daily, no matter what. Fire up the Odyssey app too. Sports Radio 610. The Odyssey app in the loop, 10 to 2, Sports Radio 610. Get that going. FJ says Steichen play calling and that overloaded DL are the biggest reasons for their success. Ain't no doubt. No doubt. I mean, look, a lot of times when we start talking about strengths, it's like when we were talking about the Texans all year, people would start arguing over basically nothing because you would have someone say, well, Pep Hamilton sucks. And then someone would say, well, Davis Mills sucks. And they'd start arguing about who sucked more. Well, Pep Hamilton sucks because Davis Mills sucks. And Davis Mills sucks because Pep Hamilton sucks. And, the center sucks, so that's why they all suck. And the wide receiver sucks. So there's plenty of suck to go around. Plenty of suck. You don't have to power rank it. Like sometimes you can just have multiple areas of suck. Philadelphia Eagles got multiple areas of good. They got good coaching. They got the best O-line in the game. They got the best D-line in the game. They got one of the best tight ends in the game. They got one of the best receiver duos in the game. I don't know how good their secondary is. I think the D-line kind of helps, but it's not too bad. But just like in Houston where there's plenty of suck to go around, there's plenty of great to go around with the Philadelphia Eagles. FJ, you always have to build from OL and DL. If you don't win the line of scrimmage, you have no chance to be consistent and build a strong, consistent program. Come on, bro. That's that cliche BS. Cincinnati got the quarterback first, and then they figured it out. I don't even know if they figured it out yet, but they were a couple of botched plays from being in this game. Even before the Chiefs fixed their offensive line, Patrick Mahomes was doing his thing. So, yeah, you can, but I don't think it's like a chicken or egg thing. Quarterback can help a lot too. I don't like this trenches stuff. I know it sounds great. I know it's hardo. I know you've got to be able to do a little something, but I don't know about the whole like you have to build in the trenches. KC says his lady's mad because all I wanted to see was Rihanna and left her to watch the game. I told her I'm not from Philly or KC. I don't care who wins. That's cool. I thought Rihanna was good, by the way. I don't know if it's like an all-time show. Do we grade someone on a Prego curve? Like, does she get do you still judge? I'm asking. I'll decide tomorrow how I'm going to do this on the show. But just on the surface, like you can't like that performance. I don't think was like all time. She wasn't really moving a lot, but she's pregnant. So do I grade her on the prego curve, or do I have to grade her like everyone else? It's like Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, his legs a little bit hurt, but he's out there playing, so gotta just judge him. She's on the prego curve. Props to her though for doing it all by herself. She went out there and just said, "It's all me." Mark asks, "Can the Texans still waive Mills or just as a backup? If they waive him, that would be weird because he's really cheap, especially with where he was drafted, and he's on the third year of his rookie deal. I think you got to keep Mills. Quite honestly, of the veteran options, I think Mills is near the top, just because of the price. And I actually think Mills could end up being a decent backup. He's a lot of times, like in a perfect world, you want your backup not to play. And you want them to be like smart, kind of a resource for your starting quarterback. And maybe he could turn into that. There's a lot of guys from the state of Texas who've made livings off of just being smart, knowing the plays, and being serviceable. Chase Daniel, Josh McCown. Ooh, that was a lick right there. Colt McCoy. It's been pretty wild. Yeah, I'm with Nathan. I wouldn't cut Davis Mills. There's no question about that. EG, quick question: would Derek Watt be a good fullback option? I think he's a free agency. I like Jerry Hairston, man. Troy Hairston. Sorry, I like him. He's a rookie, so I would keep Troy Hairston. If I were the Texans, I don't think Derek Watt's like that much better. We don't know like how they're going to use the fullback. You're really kidding yourself if you think you can just find like Kyle Juszczyk's in drafts. So I don't know how they're going to do this. But I don't think they need to sign him. I like Hairston. Good kid too. Solid. Father is a cop in Detroit. Played some linebacker, undersized D line. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. JC says big shout out all the way from McAllen, Texas. Shout out to McAllen, Texas. TD, am I tipsy? No, I'm chilling, man. Just chilling. It's got a little Crystal Light. Mark asks about Carr being released. Yeah, he's going to be released. The trade thing never really made sense. He probably is the best veteran quarterback option. And if the Texans were just trying to win next year and they were going to go the vet route, he would be, if you just got to, if you just had to pick the best quarterback, then yeah, maybe Carr would be the guy. But you also got to look at it from his point of view. Like from DeMeco Ryan's point of view, the head coaching gig, like where the Texans shaped up from that perspective. Yeah, you got to consider that because you're looking 3 years ahead. You're looking at assets. You're looking at age of the roster. You're looking at cap space. But from Derek Carr's perspective, you're just looking on paper at the team that you think, again, on paper gives you the best chance to win. And the Texans at this point, it just doesn't fit there for Derek Carr. So you got to think that there's some other options for Derek Carr that he's going to weigh out. Hell, 2 of them could be in the division. Maybe he wants to work with Shane Steichen in Indianapolis. Maybe he wants to go to Tennessee and work with Tim Kelly. Can't believe Tim Kelly's calling plays in Tennessee. Man, I just hope this game, we got 3:43 left now. I just hope this game does, like, at least Philly touches the ball again. Because this is starting to feel like Kansas City just wears it down and they kick the field goal now. We're past midfield. KC's starting to feel it, man. Jalen Hurts is going to lose sleep over that fumble. If this, we're about 3 minutes away from a fresh start. Everybody's got the same record. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Getting desperate now. 3:06. What do they need for a field goal? They're about 45, 37. They probably need about 20 yards with the way that Butker's not. I mean, he's not kicking like Mahomes with the legs. He's faking the injury, man. Inside the 20. Here we go. 2:45. Now he's limp. Get that fake ass limp out of here. I just saw you run. I'm starting to think he's playing possum. Starting to think this dude's playing possum, man. Get that. Holmes playing possum. This is heroic, though. All right, we're at 2:09. They got to run one play. They can throw here, too. Not going to, though. Run it up. What are we going to have? Second and about 7. Philly's got 2 timeouts. It's crazy. How does Kansas City approach this? This is going to be real interesting, what Andy Reid decides to do here, because you're going to have two timeouts. You might not even want to score too fast, although I don't subscribe to that in here. If you can get the touchdown and then just have your defense have to get a stop and keep them out of the end zone for 2 minutes, I take that every time. But if I'm Andy Reid in this situation, I'm running the ball at least the first time to make Philadelphia use one of those timeouts. And then that way on third down, if you get the play, if you get the first down, then they're only going to have one timeout. And you can pretty much just wind it down and kick the field goal. So that's what I would do. I would run the ball on this play, but you know how Andy Reid's got a bag of tricks. The other thing is, do the Chiefs start getting in their head like it seems like a lot of NFL players have, where let's say the guy breaks away, is he going to go in the end zone, or is he going to do that like fall down thing? It's being interesting. Why is Tony Romo in a commercial with Snoop Dogg? Need to see that. But we're 2 minutes away from the end of this season. That's all I really care about. I do find myself not wanting Kansas City to win, though, if I'm being honest. How many commercials has Tony Romo been in? And why? Like, what is going on here? Like, is he more focused on commercials than broadcasting at this point? Is that 3 commercials that Tony Romo's in? Hell of a lot. Lord. Skechers commercial. I didn't even really pay attention to the Skechers commercial. Philly has 2 timeouts right now. They had to use one to avoid a delay of game, which ironically they didn't get it in on a previous play on that drive, and they ended up hitting Goddard on the sideline. Then they got in the same situation deeper in their territory, and they used the timeout. So that could be costly. We got 2nd and 8 now. I run the ball here if I'm Andy Reid. I'm not Andy Reid, though. They're throwing, of course. Safe throw, though. Dripping all over the place. Not too much there. I would not throw the ball to Juju Smith-Schuster. They did. So now we got 3rd and it's like he might have lost a yard. 3rd and 9. Tie ball game. You can see Mahomes going over the sideline. This is Kelsey all day, right? This has to be Kelsey all day. Has to be. They're already ready to go. They got this play. They've been waiting for this play. You can tell Andy likes this play. They didn't even really have to huddle up. Man. Overthrow. 12. Oh my God. Kansas City getting more calls. Let's see this replay. Come on. He wasn't even looking for it. All right, so now you're going to have to use the timeouts. They almost got only 12 seconds killed. Oh, they're letting him score. And he went down, though. Timeout. I don't know if I would have done that. I mean, I guess it's smart, but I mean, a little bit can happen here. So he starts sliding at the 2. So I guess you can say it's smart, but they're going to call timeout. Then you have to kick what? Man, that is a tough call. That's a tough one. Vicente says, keep on laughing at Arian Foster. We got 136 left. Casey gonna just, oh, they're taking a knee. Okay. So there we go. It's gonna take it all the way down. What a crappy ending. Man. What a buzzkill. Well, I guess the one thing that Tom Brady has kind of passed the torch to Mahomes, it is that they do get the calls now. All right, 3rd and 6, 54 seconds. They'll take another knee, and then we'll get the field goal. God. This is some of the most friendly officiating that I've ever seen a team get with Kansas City. So we're going to take a knee now, and then we're what? 51 seconds away from the start of the Texans season. 52 seconds. Man, what an absolute travesty that was. You imagine being Philadelphia Eagles fan right now, just how sick you got to be. Imagine if you spent like thousands to go to this game. You're sitting in the stands. You at least wanted them to touch the rock again. They don't get to touch the rock. And now we got to watch the game in like this. Jalen Hurts sitting on the side. Andy Reid with his big-ass pull over there, calling the timeout. Now we're going to get a field goal. 11 seconds left. So there'll be a little time. Some sort of miracle. And Andy Reid, what's he wearing? A 5X shirt? It's like a damn tall tee. That was a weak call. Zach Kiefer just said that's like the Indy 500 ending under caution. Let's bring up Twitter here. See what people are saying on Twitter. Let's go on the timeline. All right, there we go. Busting with the boys. What an elite Super Bowl, too. And then it was ruined by a lame call. Zach Kiefer says kind of like the Indy 500 ending under caution. NFL philosophy, I don't like that call based on what was shown. Script jokes, those are already getting kind of old. Mike Golick Jr., what a terrible ending to a classic game. Ryan Clark, the penalty essentially ended the game. Steve P says, just entertainment value alone. We should be getting Harris trying to lead a game, tying drive down 3 with plenty of time on the clock. Very bad. It's exactly what we talked about in here. Greg Bishop, classic NFL, 2 powers. Great games, elite gutsy QB play, and the aftermath of this is still going to be about bad grass, questionable calls, and what constitutes a catch. Successful, always. Controversial, always. Here's the replay of it.
Worst case scenario, you'll see James Bradbury.
Come on. Let them play. Script jokes. Script jokes are getting old. There you go, little Philly. 35-yard line. Okay. Get a little miracle here. I'm just glad there's 4 seconds till the end of the year. I don't have any gonna be funny when Mahomes limps to the podium to receive his he's gonna have crutches for the post game. You're gonna have crutches. Brandon says they missed worse calls. Okay. I'll take your word for it. So there's 2 for Mahomes. There's 2 for Andy Reid. I think the Chiefs can officially call themselves a dynasty, depending on what happens. This could be hilarious if here we go. What are we doing here? Is he gonna throw a 65-yard Hail Mary? That's not gonna happen. Ball game. Chiefs win 38-35. Unbelievable. Unbefreaking-leavable. But it's officially the offseason. That's all that I care about. Localize it. Texans offseason officially begins. The season is behind us. It is time. It is now time to focus. Who are they going to draft? We are going to be tomorrow 4 weeks away from the start of free agency. We're going to be 10 weeks and 3 days away from the start of the draft. We've already got a coaching staff pretty much. They're filling in some holes, and this is where the fun begins. We can officially put the past in the past, and the DeMeco Ryans era begins now. Right now, it is time for the most exciting offseason ever. Screw the Eagles, screw the Chiefs, screw all that. It is officially the offseason for the Houston Texans, and it's going to be very fun. Right along with me. Sorry that we had to sit through that whack time killing field goal. But subscribe to the Locker Room, spread the word, and we'll keep this going. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And we will talk to y'all later. We're all in it together.